Advanced education and specialized training are key elements of the Ministry of Education's strategic plan to equip Bahraini youth with the best knowledge and skills that facilitate their way towards excellence and constant development. Through the Bahrain Training Institute and its different directorates, the ministry is offering a stimulating and performance-driven training, which encourages innovation and strengthens the qualifications of trainees according to the highest levels of quality. To talk more about the Bahrain Training Institute's programs and services, we are pleased to be joined by its Director General, Dr. Samah Al-Ajawi, right after this. Welcome back. Joining me in the studio is Dr. Samah Al-Ajawi. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Doctor, we did interview you in a previous episode, but that was way before Corona. So the coronavirus has changed so many things within the last year and a half that have been really drastic if you really think about it. So first off, just to give to ease the viewers back in, can you give us and our viewers a brief idea about the Bahrain Training Institute's establishment as well as its main goals and its structures and missions?
So the Bahrain Training Institute was established in 1992 as a development or an evolvement of the vocational center that was established earlier in 1981. In 1992, the cabinet decree 1209 announced the official establishment of the Bahrain Training Institute as an institute for excellence in vocational and technical education. The institute strives to be a regional center for excellence in providing vocational education in several sectors, let it be industry, commerce, or anything needed by the labor market.
Right. When it comes to the missions of the Institute, how do you foresee them or how do you plan for them?
So there are stages for planning, obviously. So you look at the strategic plan for the government, you look at the Vision 2030 to start with, and then we look at the government priorities for every 4 years, and also the Ministry of Education strategies. In addition to that, we tend to check on the labor market often. What are the needed and the new coming specialization? What are the skills needed? There are a lot of partners with us in this, the private sector and also the Ministry of Labor and Temkeen as strategic partners for ensuring the quality of our programs.
Wonderful. What are the programs that are offered by the Institute to the Bahraini youth?
So Bahrain Training Institute provides two types of programs mainly, the regular programs and the irregular and professional programs. So the regular programs, by the regular programs we mean those programs that are provided every semester on semester basis, and there are a variety of them, IT, art like graphic design, 3D design, engineering, the whole spectrum of it, mechanical engineering, civil engineering, we don't have architect, electrical engineering, mechanical, and we also have motor vehicle. In addition to that, there are some unique, I would say, specialization that the Institute provides, and it's not provided anywhere else in the country. Like, for example, we do have a diploma, an extended diploma in agriculture. We also do provide diplomas by IATA for travel and tourism. So I would say these are some specialities of the Bahrain Training Institute that makes it a little bit more unique than the rest.
Yeah. When it comes to the students that are accepted into the Bahrain Training Institute, there are some basic and let's just say it's basic criteria to accepting students. But can you tell us more about who is the student that comes and studies at Bahrain Institute?
I consider actually Bahrain Institute as a unique institute, to be honest, because we do accept students among all range of ages. Yeah. So you would find a student or a trainee at Bahrain Institute that's 17 years old, a fresh graduate from the high school. You would also find a more seasoned trainee, 50 years old. Yeah. Those people who think they want to change careers, they can come and get retrained in the institute. So we have a variety of types of trainees and a whole spectrum of age-wise and also gender. We do accept students who they only need to have their high school certificate despite the year. and also despite their GPA. So there are, I know that other government institutions has a limit or has a cap on the GPA exactly. But we don't have that, especially that we have more seasoned students that have already went to the labor market. They worked for years and they come back. So they come back with a lot of rich skills that they can also add to their colleagues in the institute. So the student obviously, or the applicant has to go through an assessment. It's just in math and English. And then based on their grades and that, they can either get redirected immediately to the program of their choice, or they will have to go to a sort of a foundation, which we call it an orientation semester, that provides English, math, and IT, the basic skills that are needed to sort of scroll through their years in the institute.
Right.
So that's it. Shouldn't be that hard. In few cases, we do interviews with students. Like, for example, for the agriculture, we did some interviews with the students or with the trainees who are interested in joining the program.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting to think that you guys have an agricultural program, because not only the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN, but also of the Vision 2030 puts a lot when it comes to sustainability and sustainable living, green living, if you will. And now we have a lot of the aqua plants and aqua agriculture coming out in Bahrain. How do you decide on adding new programs to the institute?
To be honest, the agriculture specifically was done in collaboration with the National Initiative of Agriculture. So they wanted to have such a program, and they've discussed that with us. We found the need in the market. We usually do a survey in the market. In addition to, we have an advisory committee from that sector that we are interested in looking through it. So when we had the initiative of the National Initiative of Agriculture in Bahrain willingness to help and support in this, we studied the market. We ensured having the international body sort of certification on this, and we started the program a few years ago. This semester, in fact, we're starting it for the first time in Arabic, because the language of teaching at BTI is predominantly English.
Okay, wonderful. That would have been my next question. When it comes to collaborations with the Institute and performing its role, the Institute collaborates with several official and private institutions. How do you value this cooperation, and how does it contribute positively to achieving the goals that you aspire to?
So in the education and training business, you have to always look around and you have to always reinvent yourself. So in order to do that, you have to collaborate with other bodies, other local and international bodies. So we are always audited by the Bahrain Quality Assurance Authority. That's on one hand, but we also have the external evaluators that comes to us through the external and international body to ensure that we are moving in the right direction and we are up to par in this. So in addition to that, we have the Quality Assurance Authority within our institute, just to ensure that we're doing the right thing at the right time and ensuring the quality of programs for our trainees. We do collaborate with other international bodies like Cisco, for example. We have certifications with them. The CIPD, we do provide professional certification, and that IATA, which is famous for the travel programs. Also, we do the ICDL program for IT. So you always have to keep, looking for the updated programs internally and internationally to ensure the quality and the demand on your programs as well.
When it comes to the cooperations with prospective training institutions, how do you evaluate your trainees after they finish their educational part?
Okay, we look into how they grow and they're groomed in their workplace. So we strive to keep in touch with our trainees. We're not successful all the time, but we do that. We ensure that they have secured jobs. In some cases, we do secure jobs after we secure the on-the-job training for them. So that's one thing that the Institute also provides. There are very successful cases, and we do have a lot of successful alumni who came back to BTI in our different events, and they presented for our trainees, and they showcases their success. I think that's one of the ways we ensure our success. The other way, obviously, is the BQA reports, and also the international body continuity of certification for our institute as a certified institute.
Right.
So I think these are, I assume that there are perfectly three important measures to ensure that the success of the institute.
Definitely, definitely. Well, what can you tell us about the Institute's cooperation with international counterparts?
We do have 19 programs placed on the National Qualification Framework in Bahrain. In addition to that, we have about 24 programs certified by international body, Pearson. This international body does the audit all the time, and they ensure they have to have an external validity on the programs every semester to ensure that we are working through the right quality.
Right.
Additionally, we also collaborate with other professional bodies. I mentioned them before, like the CIPD,
yes.
the Cisco. We in AAT for accounting. So we go through various programs to ensure that we have a variety of programs available for the trainees.
Right, right. One of the things that really affected the whole world, but particularly the educational system in the world and in Bahrain, as we are on the island itself, is the pandemic. And the current health circumstances, because of them, the Institute launched its online communication and also training programs to ensure safety and constant progress of its work. What can you tell us about that training program? How was the shift to online? How did all of that come into containment?
The great thing about us here, and specifically in Bahrain, to be honest, and I think that applies to other government education and training institutions. We were ready, but we didn't know that we were ready until the pandemic hit. So we had to move fast and to ensure that we have our ducks set in a row, as they say. We used to have the blended learning approach at BTI, so a mix of online and face-to-face training, but we were not heavily pushing for online training. But when the pandemic happened, we had to. So we quickly transformed into an online, fully online education, except for the practical part of the units. We did that with the Moodle, the learning management system that we've already used at BTI, in addition to the Microsoft Teams for a synchronized learning approach. And we also, when things sort of mellowed down last semester, we had our students coming to do the practical parts, just ensuring that they are taken into precautions, the number of students, the number of staff, the sanitizing. So just to ensure that they have a sort of a quite balanced mix of the online training and also the practical training that they had to do sort of on face-to-face or on-site at BTI.
Right. And I mean, looking at the University of Bahrain and other universities that I personally have seen them switch to the online system. At the beginning, it was difficult for the students, and then it became difficult for the instructors because having that vast number of students and focusing on the needs of each one was a bit difficult. But now it sort of got synchronized to the point where we can't imagine going back to physical attendance. So how was that experience for you?
You know, as they say, change is hard, and change, but you get used to it gradually. When the pandemic hit us here in Bahrain, we immediately started training, ensuring that our staff are trained well on the online tools. They had previous training and they knew how to use it, but we needed to ensure that everybody knows what to do in the right time. So we've had a lot of online workshops for the staff, and also we've had the online workshops for our trainees as well. They faced some difficulties in the beginning. We've had sort of a hotline for them, and we've also had a dedicated office that could help and support them all the time. The counseling center at BTI did a lot of support for the students, to be honest, and gradually they they become used to it.
Yeah.
This semester we did a fully online examination as well, and even the entrance exams or the placement tests were done also online. The registration, we've completely transform it into an online registration.
Perfect.
So there has been a lot of changes due to the pandemic. And as you said, I can't imagine going back to the face-to-face, you know, handing in the form and all that. It's already there. It's easier. It's safer. It's more secured. It's faster. And it's in terms of security of data is also available. So why not utilize this opportunity? It's a golden opportunity, to be honest.
And honestly, it's more sustainable on the long run. I mean, we did have a whole episode on sustainability, and once the pandemic hit, one of the things was that having everything online is more sustainable for the environment because less cars driving around, less paper used, all that kind of stuff that really fits into the development of a country and also the UN Sustainable Development Goals. When it comes to education, one of the most important things once you go into the workforce is how strong is your certificate? How accredited is the university? And Bahrain is known for the very strong educational system when it comes to the graduate, postgraduate and graduate education. Once the pandemic hit, the whole world started questioning, are university students or training students that can't come out of vocational training centers as strong as the ones before vocational training? So can you answer that question from your...
Certainly there has been a lot of questions around that, and we ensured with the international body that we're certified with to change our assessment, our assessment and our modality of teaching, obviously. So there was no way to do it face-to-face. We had to do it as an online training for the vast majority of it. And we reviewed our assessment policy. We reviewed our assessment modalities as well to ensure that we have our trainees on the right level that they are supposedly to graduate with.
Right.
In terms of the practical skills, we had to bring them on site, but using all the safety measures possible. We had no more than 8 students in a huge workshop or a huge lab, and we only brought them for the practical part, and we had to reschedule them ahead of time. So there's a whole thing, a whole shift and a whole planning for that, but alhamdulillah, I think we did quite a good job.
I definitely think that what people don't understand, that the pandemic didn't only hit the students, it did hit the institution, the administration, the teachers, where they had to come up with creative ways in order to actually level that kind of education. And when I see a lot of the practical specialties, as well as in Bahrain Training Institute, we feel that there is more to the practical than there is to the theoretical now, because you really want them to understand it in a shorter amount of time instead of it spread all over the year.
Well, we also use simulation in whenever we can. And like courses like engineering, the instructors were very creative to use various softwares just to ensure that the students have a similar experience. But again, it's not the same as the face-to-face, and we did it whenever we can.
I mean, I always, when I look at social media, you can see how innovative and creative students themselves are. They make videos of certain techniques, whether it's in nursing, whether it is in any kind of training, carpentry or whatever it is, and then they post that on social media in order for other people to see it. So really, students themselves also started like making it easier for each other. Do you feel like social media did have an impact when it comes to training at this time?
Oh, indeed, yes. I think it's a great tool to have. I was thinking the other day, if we didn't have the technology that we have now, and the pandemic has hit, what could have we done, you know? Probably we wouldn't be able to do all the things that we are doing currently. So yes, social media helped a lot in announcing things, in showing a lot of the practical parts that we wanted our students to sort of practice. And this is part of the democratization of information. Everything is available online, so self-learning is also available. So it's up to the learner at the end, and I always tell my trainees, it's up to you we provide all the resources, we provide all the support, but it's up to you also to take this opportunity and to learn from it as much as you can.
Absolutely. Well, after many years of dedicated efforts, what are the most remarkable achievements that have been accomplished by the Bahrain Training Institute?
I think the Bahrain Training Institute evolved along the way and still evolving. So I can say that we have now about 19 of our programs placed on the National Qualification Framework, which means that these programs are leveled to Bahrain, and also they are accepted and wanted at the labor markets. So that's one important measure. We've changed our modality of learning, obviously, with the pandemic, and we had that agility and flexibility to do that, and I think that's a great thing for such an somewhat older institute in comparison to the younger ones. So that's another thing. Also, we have a state-of-the-art labs and workshops. Unfortunately, at this time we cannot fully utilize them, but we do have, and of course we have the great human resources, our trainers with great experiences and with continuous also professional development and knowledge to keep them on par. So our trainers not only are seasoned trainers, but we keep them on annual basis in different courses and job training to ensure that they stay knowledgeable with what's happening in the labor market.
Yeah. When we look at vocational training in a global prospect, we see countries that are famous for it, such as Germany, the US, where they have integrated vocational trainees or graduates into the system, and they have become so important to the manpower system of these countries that you can't really, you have to make more vocational training schools. My question to you is, from your point of view, how do you see the future of training excellence here in the Kingdom?
I think nobody can deny the importance of skills and the importance of changing and renewing your skills along the way. So definitely vocational and technical training, I would say, is extremely important. And the government has seen from back then, from the 80s, they've seen the importance of a kind of training. So they've established the center and then developed it to be an institute. I think currently also there's a huge focus and emphasis on technical and vocational education. We are encouraging students, we are encouraging young graduates to go into that path and understand that this is not a dead-end path. There are opportunities for you. We do have a lot of our graduates who were entrepreneurs, and they are now having their own, for example, graphic design firm or the interior design firms, and very successful. They make more money than any any of us here. And not only that, but we also have many of our graduates, we're so proud of them that they have reached a high level in the management, either in the private sector or even in the public sector. So that shows that a graduate of Bahrain Training Institute can reach anywhere he or she wants if he has the will and the tenacity. Recently, 2 of our students won the Scientific Research Award that was announced by the Directorate of Scientific Research for the first time in Bahrain, and 2 of our students won that among 10 students, which shows that our BTI students are able and they can compete with even much more sophisticated higher education institutions.
Amazing. When it comes to this sort of training, I mean, just to make it clear to our viewers and prospective Bahrain Training Institute students, what is the after graduation policy on further education? What are the options that are open to your students, to your graduates?
Currently, our graduates can go to the UK and then top up their, if they're done with their HND, their Higher National Diploma, they can go to the UK and top it up with 1 year, and they can get their bachelor's degree and then continue on from there. For the local tertiary education, we are currently in discussion to open up these paths. There has been committees to develop the higher education sector in general, not only for BTI. So this is one of the things on the plan, that to open pathways for graduates, not only of BTI graduates, but BTI of different institutions
Right.
to ensure the continuity of their pathways.
Wonderful. Before we end today's episode, I'd really like to know what are the prepared plans and upcoming projects that will be implemented at BTI?
I think we'll invest definitely more in online education. Currently, we are in the process of developing a center for online learning at the Institute, and we are looking through different tools that will enhance the online education or the blended education approach.
Yeah.
Hopefully, after the pandemic is over, we will move into more of a blended approach education, but we are definitely looking into developing all the tools that we have and revamping them in order to be more successful in the coming near future.
Yeah. Just to give the viewers like a final point on this, your prospective students, people that don't know that BTI accepts certain ages or so on, where can they get all of the information on applying to BTI?
It's available on our website, and it's available also on our Instagram account, and they can definitely contact us anytime. They're most welcome. There's an email address that they can shoot an email for us, or call us, or again apply through the website or the Instagram account.
Perfect. Thank you so much, and thank you for answering a lot of our questions and making this clear.
Thank you, and thank you for having me here, and I wish everybody the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we would like to thank you, dear viewers, for being with us today, and we'll see you next week in another episode of Inside Edition.